Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to 2 newspapers posted on the bulletin board of City Hall and on the doors of the 3 schools as required in the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, and as amended by PL 2020, Chapter 11. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to
the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Conover.
Here.
Mrs. Zatika?
Here.
Dr. Dalton?
Here.
Dr. Myers? No? Mrs. Platt?
Here.
Mrs. Samuelson?
Here.
Mr. Sweeter?
Here.
Mrs. Lount?
Here.
And Mrs. Endicott?
Here.
And Mr. Greco is also with us.
Thank you. Okay, would any members of the public like to address the board regarding agenda items only, please?
I have 2 emails that I received this evening that I'd like to read into the minutes.
Okay.
The first one is from Mario Montanero, teacher. How many positive COVID cases will it take to shut down school once it opens?
I would like
Dr.
to
Cry?
Yes, I would like to share that we have guidance that says that 2 or more confirmed cases occur among the staff or students within a 14-day period. These cases must be linked, not share the same household, and not identified as close contact in other setting. And as far as an outbreak and closure, a facility may need a temporarily dismiss children and staff for 2 to 5 days, and that all will be in consultation with the health department and our nurses.
Thank you. Second question is, did we hire additional staff to help complete the various tasks outlined in the reopening plan?
Yes, we have. We've actually advertised for a full-time nurse at New York Avenue. And we also have monies allocated in our care funds that will go towards cleaning of our facilities and deep cleaning of our facilities.
Thank you. The second is a comment, and it's from Mr. Josh Tostevin. I live at 5 Alex Drive in Millville, and I am the president of the Summers Point Education Association. On behalf of the SPEA, I would first like to thank all of the stakeholders who collaborated to develop the current plan to reopen the schools. We appreciate the opportunity to be involved in the process alongside the administration. Our teachers have notoriously worked above and beyond their contract to ensure the social, emotional, and academic needs are met of all students in a safe, equitable, and welcoming environment. This upcoming school year will be no different. It is important to note that all members want to be back in school under normal circumstances. It's no secret that the 2021 school year is far from normal. With that, we understand there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. While some of our members are high risk, others are going home to young children or elderly relatives who are also at high risk. Others have spouses who work on the front lines, causing them to be exposed at home on a daily basis, while others just aren't comfortable. In fact, they're scared. As professionals, we opt to keep our reasons personal. As such, we have no qualms ensuring rigorous teaching and learning happens regardless of the mode of delivery. I'm sure we are all in agreement that the safety of our staff and students should be the #1 priority in this environment, That means having an HVAC system that operates correctly and is currently filtered. It means having the proper PPE on hand and in place at all times. It means setting clear guidelines and following through with them. In short, it means valuing everyone's humanity first. Teachers cannot teach and students cannot learn if they are sick. We care about the kids of Summers Point as if they were our own. There is a lot of information about the virus that is still unknown. However, what is known is that the teachers, secretary, nurses, counselors, and paraprofessionals of the Summers Point School District will continue to challenge, empower, and meet all needs of our students in person, virtually, or a combination of both, given the proper means to do so. As more studies are conducted at the state and local level, and more guidance is released about what the new normal looks like, we look forward to continuing to collaborate with all stakeholders to ensure our students and faculty are safe. Thank you. And that's all I have, Mrs. Endicott.
Thank you. Okay, so at this time, if we have no other members of the public that would like to address, we'll be closing public forum. And we'll move on to 3A. Dr. Carney Rader and the Summers Point School District Reopening Plan. Dr. Carney Rader, are you presenting any information? Are you presenting or?
Actually, I presented in a board forum for the families last week, and I did a PowerPoint presentation, which is on the website for the families to view if anybody was unable to make that meeting. In addition, right before this meeting, I met with the SPEA to address their concerns as well. And we spent about a little over an hour on a Zoom meeting with about 75 members of our faculty. So we I've addressed both the SPEA and also our parents. Any additional, and I also did, after our parent forum, I also took the chat that was going on during the forum, and I took that and did a Q&A answer, and I posted that as well, which is also on the website. So a lot of the questions that have been posed have been answered, and they are all available for reference on the website as well. And our plan will be posted once the board meeting is over, and I will be tweaking a couple of things real quick as far as just, some errors that I want to just make clean up a little bit. And then I will be posting that as well on the website for the parents to view as well. There you go, Mrs. Endicott. I can hear you now.
Oh, under board docs, there's 3 documents that are listed. Are they the same document?
They are. They're for
Okay.
some reason, there's a technological glitch, and there are 3 copies of the same document.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. I'm not sure why I keep getting muted, even though I'm unmuted. I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Do you have the agenda up? I don't see it on the screen. There.
There's a tad bit of a delay with all of the issues going on with technology right now and electric.
Okay. Okay, so then can I have a motion to approve the submission of the Summers Point School District Reopening Plan for the 2020-2021 school year to the Executive County Superintendent of Schools?
Motion, Dalton.
Thank you.
Second, Samuelson.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I have a couple of questions, but does anyone else have questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to check on this Mike Sweeter. I just want to check on where is this exactly being posted live now for the recording for people that are viewing right now? Because I'm having trouble. Somebody asked me where it was at. They just texted me and I didn't know exactly where it's at on the website.
There's a link up on Board Docs. And actually, if you go to the website and go to the Board of Education and go to Agenda, there's a link right below live board meeting, and that's where they can go to view the meeting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions I read when I was reading through the plan. I saw the schedule in there, the hybrid schedule that you posed in. We're gonna look like for the students remotely. Is that schedule for those students going to be the same? They're just going to be home following whatever their grade is, or is there a different kind of schedule? What is that going to look like for them?
The plan is whether we're a hybrid model or whether we are completely remote, that basically the schedule, the way that it's laid out, will be followed by the teaching staff. So that is the plan, is to have it, they're fluid, like having it fluid to whether we're hybrid or remote or fully remote, to have the teachers teaching that schedule the way that it's laid out.
You mean the remote only? The school goes into a remote option. The families who choose to do the remote only option for their children while the students are doing a hybrid schedule, what will their schedule look like?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Endicott, if I missed something because you were cutting in and out, but I wanted to just, as far as the schedule, we are still trying to get data on how many of our families are going to be out. But the principals are working on, because we're also still gathering data as far as what teachers will be in and which ones will not be, and operating remotely. And basically from that is how we will administer the schedule, but the schedule will be the same for all families. It just will be the difference between whether they will be remote or whether they will be hybrid in person, or if we're all remote. Because ultimately, one thing that I think is important for the public to understand is that despite the plan and all the work that's gone into the plan, there is always a possibility, depending on a couple factors. One is there is legislation currently right now that is on the floor that could possibly send us into a remote for the entire state. We don't know where that's going to be, but that is currently in discussions. In addition to the fact that depending on the number of staff that we have available, and also the number of students that are choosing to come in, really will depend on whether or not we can implement our plan, and executive orders that also go into that. So we're actually playing a waiting game over the next couple of weeks. So while we have to have a plan turned in, things could change at any minute. So I just wanted to make sure that I put that on record to let the public know that they can be aware that, things could change despite our plan to go hybrid to start the school year. There's a lot of factors that go into that. So I'm hopeful, but I wanted to make sure that I put that on record so that the public does know that it could change.
Okay, so and I know that we as a board understand that, but I'm glad that you put that on the record for the public. But if everything goes as planned and what we have a motion on the table to approve tonight, if everything goes in plan and there is a hybrid option and there is a schedule in this plan for those students that are going to be attending in person in a hybrid schedule, my question is what is the schedule for the kids whose families decide they don't want them attending on a hybrid and they just want to keep them home? What will it look like?
Well, it'll look like the Zoom lessons, which is part of our plan. It will look like, it's basically, they call it synchronous and asynchronous. So there will be some face-to-face instruction via video and live Zoom, in addition to the fact that there'll be recordings, and then there will also be assignments that they will have to complete. But all students need to receive 240 minutes worth of instruction. So that will be during the teacher's day to administer that instruction. Most of it will still be in the morning, but there will be some for our students that are completely virtual in the afternoon as well.
Okay. The whose families decide they want to keep them home, all remote, not go in for in-person, those students will be able to log in and receive education, in-person instruction during the school day, and we'll have a schedule that they'll follow.
Correct, absolutely.
That will be flexible if a parent
Correct.
can't have it come, if they can't
Correct.
do it that time, it still will be flexible. But for families who the student is at home during the day and they have computer access and technology, those students will be able to log in, and we'll have a schedule where they will receive instruction.
Correct.
Okay.
The principals will be getting all that information out to the families. Once they have more data on the number of students that will be attending, the number of students that will be fully remote, and the number of staff that we will have in district, and the number of staff that will be remote as well.
Okay. My other question is that you mentioned a remote option. If we all go to a remote option, in that plan, it says if we move to an all remote option, teachers will teach from the classroom. Is that the plan? So that even if everyone goes to all remote, then the teachers will still be in the classroom?
Well, our right now, we are planning on offering that option for our teaching staff to be in their classrooms by themselves, so that they have their materials and their technology and everything accessible for them. And then it will be a case-by-case basis on people that cannot come into the building.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? If there is
Sure.
a working parent who cannot teach or assist their child till the evening, what happens with that student? Are these pre-recorded, these lessons, or what happens in that situation?
Correct. That is our intent, to have the lessons that are administered live during the day to be recorded, and have that option for families, because we noticed one thing with the crisis that happened in March, is that there are a lot of working families that just can't get on to help their children in the middle of the day. So they need that option to have completion time later on at night. So we do have that flexibility built in, and then assignments will have a flexible turn-in schedule. So let's just say a student is receiving instruction this morning, their parents come home to help them with work, and we just are trying to keep it within a window, but it's not so tight of a window that there's, it has to be turned in from 10 to 11. They're going to have until bedtime that night in order to turn in assignments. I hope that helps.
Yes, thanks.
Anything else from the board?
I'm gonna say that question. I had one more about sports and activities. I know that right now we're in
Mrs. Endicott, I'm sorry, I'm losing you.
Yeah.
I heard sports and activities phase 2. That's
Okay.
what
So we're in the fall, correct? It says that we'll transition to sports. There's going to be no fall sports.
As of right now, we are not planning fall sports because we are still in phase 2, and it's still very touch and go as far as the sports that have already started at other programs at the high school level. So we are going to take the better safe than sorry route at this point. And we are not, and a lot of my colleagues are doing the same thing. They're not doing fall sports, and we're going to wait and see what happens with, the projected reoccurrence of the virus and flu season. And we just want to be careful. So we're going to evaluate that on a week by week basis.
Okay. So I'm assuming if there's no fall sports, there's not going to be activities either, correct? If we're not going to.
It's really not equitable. It's really not equitable, and it's really not safe. If I'm not going to do it for one group, I don't feel comfortable doing it for any of the groups at this point.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
Any other questions?
I just had one question. When we met, we talked about possibly asking the county, or we're recommending to the county the all virtual day for school districts be the same. Did we get anywhere with that?
Say that again. I'm sorry, Mrs. Chica. Do you mean that if the whole county goes virtual? Is that what you're saying?
No, like in the hybrid model, when we have that all virtual day, I think ours is Wednesday. I've heard from other school districts, they're all different days. We were trying to see if we could coordinate that day all being the same. Is that, did I misunderstand?
No, well, there's some districts that feel it's better to have either a Monday, a Wednesday, or a Friday
Right.
for their own particular reasons. I can address it again to see it at, if that's something that they're willing to go to, but most districts have their plans put in place with their days off. But I do know that as far as something we've discussed at the administrative level, that if there is a need for assistance of some sort, the parents can reach out to their principals on a case-by-case basis
Okay.
for families that are going back to work.
Okay. And
I'm
then-
sorry, that's not the best answer, but
No, that's okay. And the governor's announcement on Monday or Tuesday, where he made the adjustment from indoor capacity 25% and maxed at 25, does that alter anything in the plan, or?
it does not alter the plan as we have it right now, but what will alter the plan, because we actually, Dr. Romer did a wonderful job with our facilities department, getting every room calculated to the number of students that we can have in each room. Realistically, what's going to make the impact is the number of students that are fully remote and the number of teachers that we have that are coming in. And realistically, that's going to determine our ability to completely implement the plan.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else from the board?
The board,
I just had a comment, if that's all right. So this is Farrah Platt, by the way.
Sure.
I think that Dr. Cry, you and the committee of various stakeholders, I really appreciate the work, time, energy, effort, all of that that you put into this. And I know it changed no less than 10 times since this was originally handed to you. So, I think I speak for the rest of the board in saying that we really do appreciate that. Now, personally, I obviously my profession, I'm also an educator, and I can only really echo the sentiments that Mr. Tostovan shared in his comment that, I can really empathize with how they're feeling going into this situation. Obviously, I know that some of this is out of our control, and I kind of just wanted to state that for the record on whether we are hybrid, completely in person, virtual, and however that works out. But, I just wanted to express our gratitude for what the teachers are doing and what they're willing to do. And we all know what situations that they have at home and how hard this is for them. So I know the Summers Point faculty and family will rally and make it work. So I just wanted to share that.
And I appreciate that, Sarah, because I know that when we met today, the hard part is that we started a document to answer questions, and I want to get all those questions answered, but this has been such a fast turnaround. And I use the analogy with them that it's like nailing Jell-O to the wall. And I think, Kathy, you gave me that one. But that is true. It's an ever moving target, and it changes all the time. And we try to get some things nailed down today as a collective administrative, like our superintendent's roundtable. And it was difficult because there's still a lot of stuff up in the air. So we're just trying to be as flexible as possible. Obviously, I want to support my staff when I think of, and I'm sorry, I'm a little bit of a tear here, but I wanted to just share with the public, like when I look at this, I'm looking at this as an administrator, but I'm also looking at this as an educator and also as a parent myself. I know how important this is and how tough of a decision this is. And I want to do what's best and what's the safest for everyone. There's still a lot of stuff that we're trying to get answers to, but I am definitely going to do everything I can to make it the best case scenario in the most difficult situation that we have right now. So I hope that I know that's not any comfort to anyone, but we are trying. So, and I do appreciate all the work that my staff has put in, and I do know that they will step up to the plate for sure. My faculty is the best. Mrs. Endicott, all you.
Any other questions?
I am worried that is Mrs. Endicott still on? Okay, okay. Mrs. Endicott, do you want me to have a roll call?
I'm sorry, I can't. Has Dr. Romer made the roll call?
No, she has not. We were.
Okay.
I
I'm
want
sorry,
to.
I called for it, but then my phone kept going in and out, so I didn't know if she called for it or not. May I have a roll call, please?
No, sure. Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mrs. DeChico,
Yes.
Dr. Dalton,
Yes.
Dr. Myers is absent. Mrs. Platt,
Yeah.
Mrs. Samuelson,
No.
Mr. Sweeter,
Yes.
Mrs. Lau,
Yes.
and Mrs. Endicott.
Yes, thank you. Motion
Motion
approved.
passes.
Okay, moving on to 4A under policies. This is going to be a motion to enter as a first read, correct? This just says motion to approve, but we need to enter this as a first reading for our policy.
Correct.
Okay, so I'd like a motion to open up policy 6173.1 remote learning as a first reading, please.
Motion, Samuelson.
Motion. Oh,
Thank you.
second.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, hearing none. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Conover,
Yes.
Mrs. DeChico,
Yes.
Dr. Dalton,
Yes.
Mrs. Platt,
Yeah.
Mrs. Samuelson,
Yeah.
Mr. Sweeter,
Yes.
Mrs. Lau,
Yes.
and Mrs. Endicott.
Yes, thank you. Motion approved. Okay, any members of the public like to address the Board of Education? Dr. Romer or Dr. Carney Ray Yoder, do we have any members of the public that would like to address the board?
No, Mrs. Endicott.
Okay, I'll just wait like another 30 seconds just in case. Okay. We have no members of the public that want to address the board, then public forum is closed. Any members of the board have anything they would like to say?
Mike Sweeter, like to just ask that the hyperlink to the for any meetings in the future that are going to be virtual be placed on the district's website in the splash screen of the district website, in addition to the agenda area.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeter. That's a good
Thank you,
idea as well.
Peter. Yes, I'll make sure that happens. Thank you.
One other request, once the schedules are finalized, if they're rotating schedules and are not going to be the same every day, I request that there be some daily correspondence with the parents to remind them of what the daily schedule is, especially if the schedules for virtual are different than the in-person hybrid.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeter. We actually, I talked to Dr. Koss, our curriculum supervisor, about this, and we're going to work with the building principals to send home, we're going to attempt to send home weekly schedules so that families know exactly where their students need to be and when, because we do know that this could be an ever-changing fluid situation. So we want to make sure that the families are well aware.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other board members have any comments they'd like to make or questions? No? Okay. Hearing none, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion, Lot.
Motion. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
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 Any opposed?
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Stay healthy. Good luck with the electric.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good luck with the power.
thanks, everybody.
Power back, everybody.
Thank you, Mrs. Endicott. Bye.
I'll hope tomorrow. I hope.